I guess it's me, Chan Dragon. So today's video will do Who Should You Pull in 4.8. It's between Navia, Nilou, Yelan, and even Emilie. But for Emilie, I will only judge from their official special program. So I will only give the brief, whatever that I saw from that. And of course, if you want a little bit more detail about Emilie, I will try to make the preparation guide when they reveal more about her kit. So yeah, usually in here, I will just cover about positive, negative, and recommendation to pull, including should you get the constellation or the weapon itself. So let's get started. So let's start first with Nilou. Nilou in general is relatively strong. It's kind of the role is kind of like main DPS, sub DPS in between, because her main role is buffing Dendro core itself to become Bountiful core, or we can say like in Bloom reaction. That's where she shine. And we know that Bloom is very good in scenario where AoE or multiple enemy. And then because she just buff this Bloom just become way stronger, this is become handy. Nilou basically very good in term AoE scenario. So let's say Spiral Abyss that have multi-wave, then this one can be handy. Also maybe in the theater, maybe in the future if you can use Nilou. And mostly the enemy there is kind of AoE. I think that will be reliable too. And because of that she relatively a strong unit. However, there's a couple things that I want to give you notes and downside about this character. This character is very restrictive because her kit is only involving in Bloom. You cannot play outside it that. You can force it, but you will feel like there's a big gap that you feel like it's not even worth to use it anymore. And it's somehow she kind of rely on certain also Dendro user, let's say like Nahida mostly, that will boost a lot more of Nilou itself. If you just use of certain like random Dendro, it will be not super optimized. Let's say like Alhaitham, it's not will become the best. It require like let's say like Nahida. So because of that, she quite restrictive. Not only like block in one reaction only, it's lock or certain character in order to look like actually very good. But if you can afford that, actually she become very good in that scenario. And also you need a scenario where Bloom can be good, right? Which is in AoE. So we can say like the major downside of her is she kind of we can say like a situational character and restrictive character in the same time. And regarding her weapon, because her weapon is quite unique, it's HP main stat, and we know that for the 4-star or even you play Bay Battle Pass, there's no that literally HP. There's 1 HP, but you need to do it from gacha. It's not like you pulling karate, you will get one. So because of that, it's quite unfortunate. You will kind of feel like there's quite big gap difference. Although in the end, it's not really matter because Bountiful core buff is already strong enough. But yeah, it just feel a little bit unfortunate. But in the end, I still have my recommendation for you to pull for Nilou. First, if you really struggle in AoE content, then probably Nilou can be one of your solution because she will be very good in AoE content because Bloom reaction itself. Also second, if you maybe have Nahida, then you can consider to get Nilou because Nilou is also very good character for you to pair with Nahida. Other than that too, if you really fan in Dendro reaction, especially in Bloom, then I recommend for you to pull for Nilou because she's the best one in terms of Bloom. Lastly, of course, if you like the character or the gameplay, feel free to pull for her. And second character is also named from Ant, which is Navia. Navia is relatively a strong Geo DPS. Her main selling point or gimmick is that she is typical front load damage dealer, where that means like she will hit a very big damage or nuke damage in a single hit. And because of that, if you really like to see a big number, let's say like 200k something like that, then probably that's the typical character that you like, because it's very easy also for you to trigger. You just need to get the 6 stack from the bullet itself, and then after when you launch, and will hit the massive damage, and actually pretty nice. It's kind of like therapy if you want to see a big number, right? A lot of people like to see that too. And other thing I want to mention is that because her kit is not really involving that you have to play mono Geo, she's somehow a little bit more or less restrictive than other Geo. Literally, you usually only need 2 Geo and other like non-2 Geo, which is mostly you want to pair, let's say like Furina or even Bennett, Xiangling, Yelan. It still can work with Navia, and actually that's good. Other thing that I want to mention is that she's somehow quite tanky just because her main gimmick is revolving around Crystallize, and Crystallize like indirectly shield, right? So because of that, you kinda can play like Unga Bunga style without caring about your defensive system. Because I just realized when I play Navia, I usually very reckless and I rarely die, and actually that's pretty good if you really like typical player that quite reckless, and I think this is a good thing too. But of course in here there's a couple things to note and couple of downsides that I want to highlight. The biggest downside of her is that because her power is typical is front loaded and rely on one single big hit. That means if you miss or at least like it's not crit, then you will lose a lot of DPS. Let's say you're supposed to clear in one rotation, you have to do 2 rotation and it become like 10 seconds slow or something like that, and that somehow can be annoying. So because of that too, the things that you should note is that I really recommend to build her a little bit high in crit rate. Don't just like 50%, that's still agony. Just try like 70% and above, and that a lot more consistent, because even 60% it's still quite easy to miss, and that's truly painful. And that's why I just recommend you try to get a little bit high in crit rate too. And my recommendation for you to pull for Navia is at first, if you're a typical player that really enjoy to see a big nuke damage in the single shot or single like hit, then you probably will like Navia, because Navia is very easy to trigger like over 100k. For me, on average is like 200k per shot, and that's actually pretty satisfying. If you like to see like big number, and Navia probably one of your character. And also if you're looking for a good main DPS, then you can also consider Navia. Also maybe if you want to find like any character that can pair with Shanyun, like playing in like plunging style, then Navia can be one of the candidate too, because although Anemo not really synchronized with Onogyo, but it's still pretty much good because the Xianyun buff the plunging attack, and Navia plunging attack still relatively pretty good. So because of that, yeah, maybe that can become one of your consideration too. And of course, in the end, if you like the character and gameplay, feel free to pull for her. And the third character, which is Emilie. Emilie is a brand new character that her job mostly as off-filler or sub-DPS. There's no indication that she's main DPS, because basically she will summon turret and it will deal damage time to time, so you can switch off. So basically that's sub-DPS. And judging from her kit is that she pretty much okay. I don't think she will become a bad character. At the worst, okay or fine character though. And the thing in here I want to explain that her main gimmick is that she will turret or whatever lantern from the skill, and it has couple different level. So basically, if you want to increase the level, you need to trigger burning reaction. So if you trigger burning reaction, her dendro damage will become even stronger from this turret. So take note, she's not buffing the burning reaction. She's not make the pyro damage getting stronger. She only use burning reaction as her fuel to boost her dendro damage to become stronger. So don't expect she will make the character like Dia, then like pyro damage getting stronger, something like, no. She's only use that as a fuel, so take notes in that. So judging by her kit is that she's a typical character that we will kind of want to play not like the traditional dendro reaction like Bloom, Hyper Bloom or Aggravate, something like that. We kind of just want to play stay within like in burning type of team, which is you want to pair let's say like Xiangling, Bennett, even like Dia has potential with her, which is we can come out with quiet, not usual team with Emilie itself, which is I find this is the main selling point of her, which can make like, although she's not buffing like the burning damage, but she can enable somehow like it playable with the burning character, because she will make like her dendro damage become stronger in here. So quite interesting in here. I think in this case, if you don't have the character, let's say like Nahida or any like dendro that dealing damage like Alhaitham, she can be an like alternative. I don't think will be as close as Nahida or Alhaitham, but at least I can say like can be somehow a substitute. But of course in here there's couple notes or downside that I think from her kit is that because she's typical character you just want to play on burning reaction, that means she's quite restrictive again. I don't think as restrictive as Nilou, because Nilou require basically you need to do Bloom, right? It will transform the dendro core to become bountiful core. In here, at the worst, if you don't play in the burning, she will still deal damage from the turret or the lantern itself, but it just only stay at level 1. So because of that, you kind of want to play in burning to become optimal, so it somehow become restrictive in here, although not as worse as Nilou. And my recommendation for you to pull for Emilie is that if you need a character like sub DPS in dendro, technically like let's say you don't have like Nahida, then maybe you can consider her. I don't think she will as close as Nahida, but maybe if you already like very emergency, then you can consider for her. And second, if you really like to play burning, because I know some people really enjoy to play in burning like team comp, and finally you can put with Emilie, although she's not buffing burning reaction, but she can make character with the burning team can works, and I think that's a huge with the person that really like burning. And third, maybe if your typical character want to expand your dendro team variation, then maybe you can consider for Emilie, because I don't think she will play like usual like like Hyper Bloom, Aggravate, Spread, something like let's say like Yao Yao, Kishinobu, Shincho, something like. I don't think she will play like that. This is mostly with evolving with Pyro character, which is it will be something refreshing if you kind of want. And lastly, of course, if you like the character and gameplay, feel free to pull for her. And the last character, which is Yelan. So Yelan is basically a very good sub DPS or off fielder. She's basically just, we can say, like alternative of Xingqiu itself. A little bit worse at C0 because the application and of course doesn't have any defensive system like resistant interruption and healing. But at least it's already quite competitive in there, and somehow the damage can be even better than Xingqiu because HP scaling is easier. Xingqiu is attack scaling. Like in my case, my C0, even Yelan, when before I testing, it's already stronger than Xingqiu because how easy to just stack HP, and actually that's actually a good upside about her. Other than that, of course, she's already meta character, you don't need to ask. And finally, if you want to play like double hydro team comp, let's say like without double hydro, finally you can do it. And actually that's one of strong team too. That another thing too, like let's say you've kind of team that really dependent on Xingqiu, finally you can have like second character that have same like Xingqiu, right? So you can separate, let's say like first half using Xingqiu, second half using Yelan, something like that. Or maybe like in the theater that require a lot of character, that maybe in the future you can use both of these Xingqiu and Yelan, then maybe you can consider, right? Then that's actually a relatively strong character. Other things that I want to mention, that she's very good also in like ground exploration, let's say like desert. Oh, she's very good in that because her run is very reliable, and actually that's such a big quality of life. If you just like run out of stamina waiting on, that's usually painful. With Yelan just feels a lot better. And regarding her downside, or a couple things that for you to take note, is that mostly it's only things to note, which is at C0, if you want to use Yelan, then you need to pay attention more with your energy recharge, because if you kinda like ignore, you may don't have ultimate ready when you come to your Yelan rotation. So just be careful to stack a little bit more in your energy recharge. I think preferably like above 180% if you can, or just put like Emblem of Several Fate so you can get more energy recharge in there. Another thing that I want to mention is that if you want to use her with Hu Tao at C0, it might be not the best compared to Xingqiu, because her application is a little bit worse than Xingqiu at C0, although it's not literally super bad, but Xingqiu usually will be the best unless you aim for C2. That that will become no problem at all, and that's the thing that I want to give you notes. And my recommendation for you to pull Yelan is that first, if you aim just like straight meta character, she's one of them. And second, if you want an alternative character for Xingqiu, then pull for Yelan, because she's basically just copy of Xingqiu itself with different like gimmick, of course. And another thing is that if you really rely on typical team that with Hydro, which is, let's say we play a lot in Dendro based team, or like, you know, like Vaporize type of team, then I really suggest to get Yelan, because most of the case you kinda need both Xingqiu and Yelan at the same time. And the next one, if you maybe really enjoy exploration, I think Yelan is one of the character you should consider too, besides Karamuj. And lastly, of course, if you like the gameplay or the character itself, feel free to pull. And let's move to the section of should you pull for signature weapon or early constellation. Early constellation in here only until C2. And for the Nilou, should you pull for early constellation or signature weapon? And I can say it's usually depend. If you only until C1, and I recommend to get the signature weapon first, because HP matchup is very rare in Sword. Only literally the gacha one that 4-star, and that's the only it. So getting the signature weapon can be actually huge boost stat and overall for your overall Nilou kit, and I think that will be better than C1. C1 is still nice, boosting mostly the skill and make the duration is longer by 6%. Still nice quality of life and damage, but weapon still I think is better. However, if you decide to go to C2, I think both of them, signature weapon and C2, is already equal, because this is actually good, reducing like the Hydro rest, and even also the Dendro rest also decrease. That's actually already good. So in the end, if you go until C2, it's actually just depend on your preference. It's already equal. And for Navia, should get the early constellation or signature weapon. Also same depends, same like Nilou. If you go for C1, I think just better go with the signature weapon, because the signature weapon will boost your stat and damage. This only gives you energy recharge. It's good, that means you don't have to care about ER anymore, but in the end I feel like ER you can be fixed by using the artifact itself, but weapon boost stat is basically hard if you don't get a good roll. So I think getting weapon is a lot better. However, if you go decide to C2, I think both of them have the same value with the signature weapon, because this will give you a lot of crit rate, so you can almost ignore crit rate and just focus on crit damage. And also you get like extra shot from when using ultimate, and actually still pretty much good, basically just extra damage too and give you critical rate. So they kinda equal I think with the signature weapon. So in short is that signature weapon better than C1, but C2 is equal as the signature weapon. And for Yelan, she'll go for the early Constellation or signature weapon. For me, Yelan just goes straight away with the Constellation because I feel her signature weapon is good, but it mostly will work perfectly if you have C6. Because it's mostly only boosts her personal damage, but her Constellation itself not just boosts like personal damage, it also boosts her quality of life and application. Like let's say like C1. C1 will give you additional charge to get technically more damage and also easier for you to have the lesser ER requirement or energy charge requirement, so that's actually huge. So you will no longer so much suffer with the energy recharge. And C2 you will get extra more damage from the hit itself, and then also you will get extra application because it will fire an additional water arrow that will deal 40% of Yelan max HP. So this is where it will become like as good as Sinch already in terms of hydro application, and you should not worry to play like with Hu Tao anymore with the solo hydro. So that's why I say like just go with the Constellation right away compared to the signature weapon. If you really want to equip the weapon, I will recommend not the signature but LG. And that's everything about who should you pull in 4.8. And if you ask my verdict which one I will pull, I think it's easier already for you to judge by all my stuff that I talk, which is the one I will pick is Yelan. Yelan is still pretty much one of the best character in the Genshin Impact. I think for the 5-star itself, I think top 10 that you should pull I recommend. So of course I think Yelan is the one that I will choose for this patch because Hydro is very useful application, like in terms of element very useful, like Dendro, Fab, like all the stronger reaction is usually Hydro based. Yeah, I just choose Yelan. However, lastly, if you consider about the Natlan teaser that already show you a lot of different character, and I always say like 4.8 or like the patch before 5.0, it's kind of, we can say like somehow like trapped to milk you and make you try in Primo Gems. So because Yelan is second half, right to I think see the special program first and see the 5.0 character, what looks like, what is the brand new gimmick in Natlan, and I think it will give you a better judgment whether you should pull Yelan or wait for those character, because some of the character probably you will interest or looks amazing, and that's usually what the marketing they do. They put a good character like almost before the big patch and they try your Primogen, and then suddenly they will make you like feels like god damn it, 5.0 also good, so kinda force you to swipe. So as I already said before, a little bit careful in that. Better to wait the special program, especially Yelan in the second half. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like this video, feel free to hit the subscribe button and like, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.